Hello and welcome back. This is going to be a solely YouTube video, not part of the podcast, because we're just going to walk through this topic because it's easier if I can just show you charts and walk through it. But thank you everyone who's been reaching out with messages and loving the podcast. If you've not subscribed, please go and listen to it. Today we're talking about how will Bitcoin react to the US election. This is a question that I was asking, and I've seen a lot of people online asking the same one, so I just wanted to do a little bit of research, dive into it very quickly, and give you that answer. I want to emphasize that I am not either one side. I'm very apolitical. I just want to know how Bitcoin will react, and that's what this is. So let's kick off. This was actually what sparked me doing this. Was I saw a lot of charts on X. I saw a lot of people asking on Reddit what happens, and like I was very intrigued what does happen, because I've been in now. This will be my third cycle, so I forget what happens around these times. So as you can see here, this person is saying it's very volatile in the short term, and then it just explodes. I wanted to see if that was actually true or not. Okay, so this is the first one I want to bring up, and this is the price of Bitcoin from 2015 till present. And you can see I've overlaid it with the US presidential election and when that winner got inaugurated. And I just wanted to see what happens between that time. So it's usually a 2-month period, going from November to January, and I was very interested. What does happen over that time? Is that tweet right? And it is very interesting. What happened? So 2016, Bitcoin went up 31%, and then you can see if we go up to the 2020 election, and Bitcoin actually went up to rose quite high and then fell a little bit, and it went up, let me just move that, 107%. Now these aren't exactly like bang on, but you can see where I've drawn the lines, and so it went up 107%. So I'm not saying history repeats itself, but we tend to see a rise in Bitcoin following no matter who won the election, because you can see here we've got two different parties that actually won. Next, I wanted to look at what happens over a 1-year time frame, and this is where it was very interesting. So if you project that out over 1 year, so from the election date in 2016 when Donald Trump won to 1 year out, so November 2016 to November 2017, it went up 2,580% roughly, give or take. And the similar happened when Joe Biden won, and it went up with a year's difference. It went up 320%. So Bitcoin is always inclining or always appreciating. But a lot of people think that this is maybe caused by the election. That is very, very wrong. The election doesn't affect it. It might affect how much it appreciates over that time, whoever's in office. But it is not triggered by the election. It's triggered by the Bitcoin halving. And if you don't know about this, I have made one of our master classes. I think it's like 7 minutes. I've made that free, so please go and hit on it in the description. And I just explain very simply what the Bitcoin cycle is, because I see a lot of people coming into Bitcoin not understanding this and maybe thinking that the election influences it in a massive way, whereas it doesn't. So please go and check that out if you don't know what the Bitcoin cycles are, what the Bitcoin halving is. That will really help you. And why does Bitcoin do this? I want to show you now this one, which is the US M2, so the money supply. So how much money is in circulation. And these blocks are the terms of whoever was president. For some reason, it's not coming up with the overlay. But you can see here, well, this is Joe Biden up here. And then you got Donald Trump. And then you got Obama. So that's how it goes. But during the terms, there's something they've got in common. They're always increasing the money supply. And this is what affects Bitcoin. Because if the money supply is getting increased, then the purchasing power of the dollar is decreasing. And therefore, assets are then going to appreciate in value. And this, in a nutshell, is really, like, simply how it works. And it doesn't matter who's in office, because the likelihood is they are going to increase the money supply and print more money, and pump that into the economy, which then has that effect on assets. So it doesn't really matter who wins. Like, we're going to see that. And I will put this in the description as well. Lynn Alden does a great analysis. I would recommend reading this, but we were just looking at the US M2, which tracks the monetary supply of the US dollar, whereas she's looked at the global liquidity, so the global M2. So that's all the fiat currencies. And this is one of the things that she highlights, which is Bitcoin moves in the direction of global liquidity 83% of the time in any given 12-month period, which is higher than any other major asset class, making it a strong barometer of liquidity conditions. Now, this is very interesting because I will show you. Here we go. So she then overlays the Bitcoin price and the global M2. And you can see this. I mean, this is very simple when you think about it. The more fiat money that's getting pumped into the economies around the world, then they're going to devalue and assets are going to increase. So this is a good way to look at Bitcoin. And as you can see, it doesn't really matter. In the US anyway, who's in office, they're always pumping more money in. So how will Bitcoin react to the US election? If history is anything to go by, we will see it a little bit choppy. As people are very uncertain, they're unsure on what is going to happen, who's going to win, because some Harris and Biden have very different approaches when it comes to the economy, let's just say. I won't get too political. But as you can see, the US election just falls before the usual Bitcoin bull market. And that's just a coincidence that seems to land there. But it doesn't have anything directly to do with Bitcoin. But we tend to see Bitcoin rise no matter the party, the winner, whoever it is in office. We tend to see Bitcoin rise. Just how much? I don't know. All right, I hope that gave you a quick overview on how Bitcoin will react to the US election. And if you like this, you'll probably like our podcast. So subscribe wherever you listen, or just subscribe to the YouTube. And yeah, we will see you weekly. Ciao.